You know, I've been thinking, you know, what do I want to shoot? And so I guess, you know, this guy just brought me his little flat bottom John boat. It's pretty cool. It crappie fishes and trout lines for catfish and stuff in it. So that's pretty cool. I guess he just brings some coolers or something and he sits in them. I don't know. But you know, I get a motor and I'm like kind of getting smart, I guess, or trying to. No matter if it's dead or if it's working, I guess there's like 4 things really from the very start that you have to have. You have to have it. So I guess my number 1 is compression. You know, just do a compression test right off the bat, because if you don't have at least 90 pounds of pressure on most engines, then it won't even run. So the cylinder, the piston's gotta compress, right, for a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. You have to have compression. So then the second thing, the number 2 thing you gotta have is spark. So all your ignition has to be working, and then you get spark at the spark plugs. And then, you know, that's either a CD, like a magneto system, the old motors, or a CDI, which is a capacitor discharge. Same kind of principle, but there's capacitors in your switch box that tells the, you know, the spark plug to fire. You know, you usually go through a coil, so you have a coil pack. And then so you gotta have a good ignition system delivering spark. So then the number 3 thing you gotta have is fuel. So you gotta have a good fuel pump, no leaks. Your carburetor is sending fuel into the cylinders, right? So you gotta have that. But your carburetor also has to have the air. So 3 is fuel, and then 4 is air, right? Because you got to mix the air and the fuel. The carburetor's got to be able to do that, so that when you hit the spark, you get combustion. So like on a 2-stroke, you got 2 strokes, right? You got the upstroke, compresses it, explosion. 2nd stroke is going down. On a 4-stroke, you know, it's usually some kind of timing, either a belt, you know, something that times your valves, right? So you have a valve that'll open. Usually, I guess I have to remember this stuff, I forget, but like you got your upstroke, valve opens, lets the fuel in, right? And then or it's either downstroke, you know, and it lets the fuel in, upstroke compresses it, explosion. Down is that stroke closes the input side of your valve, your intake valve. And then you have another stroke that pushes up, and an exhaust valve opens and pushes the spent fuel and that out. Down, it opens the intake, allowing fuel in. Up is another compression explosion. So 4 strokes, right? Hopefully I got that right, but it's basically that. You get the idea. You can look it up. So I don't know, you know, where do you start? You know, this is, so you have different scenarios. You got stuff that comes in and it's not running. You have stuff that comes in like this that is running, just it's running poorly, right? So where do you start? Well, I guess over time I've learned that the best thing to do is, you know, because you can waste a lot of time chasing things down, you know, and I guess the point of this video is that, you know, if you waste all that time, you know, it may take a long time to find the problem. So really the first thing you should do is just right off the bat do a compression test. Okay? Because that compression is going to tell you basically the internal, you know, looking for the right words, the internal, if it's good. Like if you're getting compression, then, you know, your internal part of the engine is operating, you know, it's operating correctly. Boy, that took a while. Not sure what I was thinking. So if you skip that step and then you say, oh well, it's a carburetor problem, and you go messing with the carburetor and the thing will run, but it just, everything else seems right, and then you come back and you figure out, oh man, I got a cylinder that's only at like 90, and I've got 2 other cylinders that are at like 120. Well, no matter what you do, it's not gonna run right. It just isn't. So, you know, at that point, it's a diminishing return, because it's just an engine that will never ever really be what you want it to be. So that's like your number one step. While you're doing that, you can also do a spark test, because you can hook up, you take all your spark plugs out, put your compression gauge in one of the cylinders, right? Start with your top, and then the other 2 cylinders you can leave them out, and you can take all your spark plug wires and use that little butterfly thing I got, and, you know, ground it out, and then, you know, you can put your timing light on if you want. You can, but you can see if there's fuel coming out of the bottom 2 spark plug holes. I tend to do them separate steps, but you're set up to do that. So you can check to see if you got fuel and spark. Make sure you got a good timing mark. You can find your timing marks, because once you get these out, you can see what your base timing is. If it's off, that's probably one of the biggest problems. So trying to save a little time, you know, it'll help you, because it'll isolate the problem right away. So this is a 2-cylinder, right? So my bottom gauge is going to be tough to get in. I think it will fit in here, but I'll just, like, that was loose. That's kind of one of the first things I do. At least they got the right ones. But champion plug, which is good. It's pretty bad, needs new plugs. That's a L78V. So that's one of the first things I would do. I might clean it up. And just out of curiosity, the bottom one's loose too. I mean, that's way loose. That's probably one of the big problems. Yeah, look how bad that one is. But take the spark plugs out. See, I just did that by hand. That's not supposed to be that way. Okay. So now I can put, I'll take these, right? And I'll just take, to start, I'll put my little wing nut deal on there, ground out the coils. Okay, so it's got 2 coils. And then I'll go ahead and check my compression. And while I'm doing it, checking my compression, the bottom one I can see if I got fuel coming out if I wanted to. So I could do that as one step. Once I figure out, okay, I got good compression. So then, while I'm kind of set up, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna take this off just to see what's up. Oh, they just got labeled as 1. That's what's up here. So 1, 2, just got rid of that. Yeah, we did. So we're gonna do that, right? We're gonna check the compression and see what it is. And then while we got this off, then we can check our spark. And then we just need to find our timing marks and find out where the have to find out where my timing mark is on this one. That's not even engaged. Okay, here, this one's going to end up being a really good example of why you're going to do your compression test first. Here's the timing mark, and I kind of just took a pencil to try to get a rough estimate of where the top dead cylinder is. And so looking on the cowling, there was probably a piece that it was here and it came down and it had the timing marks like right here, but it's missing. Either it was connected to this is probably where the pull rope went in, but there was probably another piece and they didn't know how it worked. They took the timing mark off, so now we're screwed because we don't have any way, you know, well, we have a way, but we have an easy way now to time it. So now I have to index the flywheel in order to find out where it's firing, because you want to do your advanced fire first, and check your butterfly, make sure it's wide open for wide open throttle. And so we don't have any timing marks anywhere. It tells us like, okay, what should this be? So this is a 40, right? So I'm gonna have to look this up and find out what the base timing was. I went ahead and put my little deal that I made. So we ground out the coils, right? But they'll still fire, so I could put my timing light on it. And then I've put in my little compression gauge, because we might as well check the compression first to make sure it's a good engine. And then I'm filling up my bucket because we want water moving in the impeller, because we don't know, you know, if it's peeing good, we don't want to mess up the impeller. So that's my setup. So now I'm filling this up right now, which it's almost there. And then I'll just do a compression test. And if I got good compression, then I take this off, which is not even working. And then I'll have to get a dial indicator, and I'll have to find this is my top dead center mark. So I'm gonna make a better mark there, and then I'm gonna have to index this like several times and write the degrees. So when if I get to that point, I'll show how to do that so that you can at least get some rough estimates. Otherwise you're shooting in the dark because you could never really have the right time. Anyway, you follow me. You know what I'm saying. So I'm just waiting for this to fill up. No sense turning the camera off. Let's see if he's got this hooked up, I guess. Yeah, we got a dead battery. Well, alright, turn this off, charge up the battery.
I used